Around 2.4 million years ago, the Earth was a very different place from what humans know today. Vast landscapes stretched endlessly without cities, roads, or machines. Thick forests covered some regions, while open savannas dominated others. Giant animals roamed freely. Ancient elephants, wild predators, and enormous birds ruled the land. In this world, early human ancestors, not yet called Homo sapiens, struggled daily for survival. They lived in small groups, constantly, moving in search of food and safety. Their bodies were not as advanced as modern humans. They had stronger jaws, smaller brains, and relied heavily on instinct rather than complex thinking. Yet within them, a powerful spark of survival and adaptation was slowly growing. These early beings used simple stone tools, often just sharp rocks they shaped by hitting one stone against another. These tools were used to cut meat, break bones, and dig for roots. Fire was still not fully controlled, so nights were dangerous and cold. Darkness brought fear, as predators like saber-toothed cats and giant hyenas hunted silently. The early hominins communicated through basic sounds, gestures, and expressions rather than language. Still, their social bonds were strong. Because survival depended on unity, they learned quickly that alone meant death, but together meant a chance to live another day. Food was never guaranteed. Some days they found fruits, insects, or leftover carcasses from predators. Other days they starved. The environment forced them to adapt constantly. Those who learned to cooperate and use tools survived longer, slowly passing their traits to future generations. Over thousands of years, small changes began to shape their bodies and minds. Their brains gradually grew larger, and their ability to think improved. These changes were not sudden, but happened over countless generations. This was the beginning of a long journey that would eventually lead to Homo sapiens, the modern human species. Even though their world was harsh and unforgiving, it was also a place of discovery. Every sound in the forest, every new object, and every challenge taught them something new. The journey of human evolution had just begun, and nature itself was shaping the future of intelligence on Earth. As time moved forward, early human ancestors began to spread across different regions of Africa and beyond. The environment played a major role in shaping their evolution. In open grasslands, they needed to walk long distances, so their legs became stronger and more adaptive for endurance. Their hands became more skillful, allowing them to grip stones and tools with better precision. Slowly, their survival strategies improved, and they started to hunt in more organized ways rather than relying only on scavenging. Groups became more structured instead of random movement. Early humans began to travel together in coordinated bands. Each member had a role. Some searched for food, others watched for danger, and a few cared for the young. This cooperation was not just instinct anymore. It was becoming behavior learned and passed on. Communication also began to evolve. Though still primitive, their sound became more meaningful. Certain calls meant danger, while others signaled food or safety. This was the foundation of language that would later become complex speech. One of the most important developments of this time was the control of fire. At first, fire was feared, caused by lightning or natural events. But gradually, early humans learned to preserve it and use it for warmth, protection, and cooking. Fire changed everything. It kept predators away at night, allowed them to survive cold climates, and made food easier to digest. This led to better nutrition and stronger bodies. Around fire, social interaction also grew stronger. Groups gathered, shared food, and developed deeper bonds. Stone tools also became more advanced. Instead of simple sharp rocks, they began creating specialized tools for cutting, scraping, and hunting. This improvement showed increasing intelligence and planning ability. These changes were slow but powerful. Over thousands of years, they transformed early hominins into more human-like beings. Their brains expanded, their behavior became more complex, and their survival skills improved significantly. The journey toward Homo sapiens was no longer just biological. It was becoming cultural as well. With continued evolution, early humans began to develop a deeper understanding of their surroundings. They were no longer just surviving, They were learning. They observed animal behavior, weather patterns, and seasonal changes. This awareness helped them plan hunts and migrations more effectively. Instead of randomly searching for food, they started predicting where animals might go or which plants would grow in certain seasons. Their social life also became more complex. Early humans formed stronger family groups, and emotional bonds began to play a greater role in survival. Mothers cared deeply for their children, and group members protected one another. This emotional connection increased their chances of survival because individuals were no longer isolated. They shared food, protected the weak, and worked together in dangerous situations. Language continued to evolve slowly. What started as simple sounds gradually became more structured communication. Early humans began assigning meanings to specific sounds, and this allowed them to share ideas more efficiently. They could now warn others about danger from a distance or guide them toward food. Sources. This development marked a major step in human evolution, as communication is a foundation of civilization. Tool-making also reached new levels of sophistication. Humans began selecting better materials and shaping tools with greater precision. They used bones, wood, and stones in combination, showing creativity and problem-solving skills. These innovations allowed them to hunt larger animals and process food more efficiently. As a result, their diets improved, supporting brain growth and physical strength. At the same time, migration continued. Some groups moved into colder regions, adapting to new environments with thick fur-like clothing made from animal skins. Others stayed in warmer areas, developing different survival strategies. This diversity led to variations among early human populations, each adapting uniquely to their surroundings. Nature was shaping humanity in multiple directions, preparing the foundation for future human species, including Homo sapiens. As generations passed, early humans became more advanced in both physical and mental abilities. Their brains grew larger, allowing for better memory, reasoning, and problem-solving. They began to think not just about survival in the present moment, but also about planning for the future. This shift in thinking marked a major transformation in human evolution. One of the most significant developments during this period was the emergence of symbolic thinking. Early, humans started to create simple markings on rocks or cave walls. These markings may have represented animals, hunting routes, or important events. Although primitive, this was the beginning of art and communication beyond spoken language. It showed that humans were beginning to express thoughts visually, not just through actions or sounds. Hunting strategies also improved significantly. Instead of individual efforts, groups worked together to trap and hunt animals. They used coordinated movements, driving animals into confined spaces where they could be captured more easily. This required planning, teamwork, and communication, all signs of increasing intelligence. Such cooperation made survival more efficient and less risky. Fire became central to daily life. It was no longer just a survival tool, but a part of social and cultural development. Around fire, stories may have been shared, helping early humans pass knowledge from one generation to another. Even though these stories were simple, they helped strengthen group identity, and climate changes forced humans to adapt quickly. Those who could innovate survived, while others disappeared. This natural selection process slowly refined human abilities. Over thousands of years, these changes brought early humans closer to modern Homo sapiens. Their bodies became more refined, their minds more capable, and their societies more organized. Finally, after millions of years of gradual evolution, the early ancestors of humans reached a stage where they could be recognized as Homo sapiens, the modern human species. This transformation was not sudden, but the result of countless generations of adaptation, learning, and survival. Homo sapiens had larger brains, advanced language skills, and highly developed social structures compared to their ancestors. These early Homo sapiens were explorers by nature. They migrated across continents, adapting to deserts, forests, mountains, and icy regions. Their ability to think creatively allowed them to invent new tools, build shelters, and create clothing suited for different climates. Unlike earlier species, they were no longer limited by environment alone. They were beginning to shape the environment themselves. Language became highly advanced, allowing complex communication, planning, and storytelling. This helped strengthen communities and preserve knowledge across generations. Art, rituals, and early belief systems began to emerge, showing that humans were not only surviving, but also trying to understand their existence. This was a major leap in cognitive evolution. Homo sapiens also developed stronger cooperation. Large groups worked together for hunting, protection, and survival. Social bonds became the foundation of human life. Trust, sharing, and teamwork allowed them to thrive in almost every environment on Earth. Over time, these abilities led to the rise of civilizations, agriculture, and eventually modern society. The journey from primitive ancestors to Homo sapiens is one of the most extraordinary stories in natural history. It is a story of struggle, adaptation, intelligence, and survival. Even today, traces of that ancient world remain within us, the instinct to survive, to connect, and to explore the unknown. The journey of species continues, shaped by the same forces that began 2.4 million years ago.